Warriors, rise. This is the biggest thing you need to be afraid of, and this is not what you think, Warriors. My name is Coach JV. I am the top health, mindset, and crypto coach in the world. What you believe in your heart, you think in your mind will eventually become your words and become your reality. If you can see it in your mind, eventually you can hold it right here in your hands. What you repeatedly do gets ingrained in your subconscious mind. What gets ingrained in your subconscious mind becomes an unconscious activity. And I haven't done one of these videos in a while where there's no news or no news updates, because none of that matters right now, Warriors. And I'll keep bringing the news to you guys in cryptocurrency and macro and microeconomics. But Warriors, this is the thing you should be fearing the most of. I want you to think about the saying that I say every single time. Why do I repeat the same thing on every single video? Why do I say the same thing at every single TikTok? Because what you repeatedly do gets ingrained in your subconscious mind. What gets ingrained in your subconscious mind becomes an unconscious activity. If you can see it in your mind, eventually you can hold it right here in your hands. Let's start with that saying right there. If you can see it in your mind, eventually you can hold it right here in your hands. So how do you see things in your mind? Through predictive, consistent programming. So what you see in your mind, the thoughts that you create on a repetitive pattern, will eventually be the words that you speak. And then the words that you speak will end up holding it in your hand. So the current reality that you're facing right now, whether it seems grim to you or the greatest time in human history, is the thought process mixed with desire that is coming into the physical reality and what you're experiencing. So this is the biggest thing you should fear, Warriors. Right now, this is a battle for human consciousness. It's not a battle against the V versus no V. It's not the battle with the C versus no C. And you know what I'm saying with that. It's not the battle between America and China. It's not the battle between Russia, China, and America. The battle is for human consciousness. And this is nothing new under the sun, Warriors. And so there's probably very few people watching this right now because they want to hear if XRP is going to go to 589. And they want to hear that cryptocurrency regulation is going to be favorable for them so they become a millionaire. And the reason why we're so addicted to that, and the reason why we're so addicted to what Kim and Kanye are doing, because we've lost complete sight of who we are as human beings, that we are powerful beyond measure, that what we believe in our heart and we think in our mind will eventually become our words and become our reality. And if we can see it in our mind, eventually we can hold it right here in our hands. What we repeatedly do gets ingrained in our subconscious mind. What gets ingrained in your subconscious mind becomes an unconscious activity. So if your finances are messed up right now, if your relationship is messed up right now, if your eating habits are messed up right now, it's the things that you're repeatedly doing that get ingrained in your subconscious mind that become an unconscious activity. And what we're experiencing right now is generation after generation after generation. Specifically, you and I are living the subconscious mind programming of our grandparents who went through the Great Depression. Eat everything on your plate. Eat everything on your plate, and they store everything, and they're hoarders because they were manipulated by something outside of themselves that got them to believe in a subconscious mind programming that became their words for a long period of time, mixed with desire that became their reality, and now you're experiencing that. So here's the message if you're still here, Warriors. You are what's called a generational shifter. It's not your government. It's not your spouse. It's not the house you live in. It's not the circumstances you grew up in. Once you become an adult, okay, I'm going to back up just a moment. Once you become an adult, at that point, you have the ability to make decisions. Now, if you're in the care of others, your subconscious mind programming was developed by other people. So the circumstances, the government, the country, the people you're around, yes, programmed your subconscious mind programming. But this is the biggest thing to fear, is not having control of your subconscious mind. And the reason why it feels like everything is spinning out of control is because you have not taken control of this. So it is a battle for human consciousness. after 18 years old, or you're not in the care of other human beings, okay? So I always give us that because a lot of us went through things when we were a child, and that wasn't your fault. That wasn't your fault. The circumstance you grew up in wasn't your fault. You were born into that circumstance. But once you become an adult, it's a battle for human consciousness. So the reality that you're living right now, if you're broke, the reality that you're living is deep rooted subconscious mind programming that your parents taught you to be broke. If you're unhealthy, your parents probably taught you unhealthy eating habits. And sometimes it goes opposite. If your parents were alcoholics or they smoked, it goes opposite and you do that, which is great. But all of us right now, as you sit here and watch this video, you are a product of the deep-rooted subconscious mind programming of your parents, your grandparents. And let's think about this for just a moment. This is the thing you should be focused on, is understanding where we came from. And when you understand where you came from and what's going on, you can make good informed decisions to make this the greatest time in human history for you, warriors. In the 1900s, these are factual things, warriors. A family that started with an R, and if I even say their name, they'll put something on here. It's so interesting. So think about that for just a moment. If you mention certain families' names, things get shadow banned or shut down. So a family that started with an R created what's called the General Education Board, and they started your medical board, okay? And maybe in their mind, they were doing great things, right? This person or this entity or this family decided to take people out of the fields, right? Really, really impoverished people and put them into education systems, which is awesome. I think that's great. Maybe they thought they were doing the best thing for humankind in that moment, but they decided that we don't need more doctors. We don't need more lawyers. We don't need more scholars. We don't need more scientists. We don't need more abundant people out there understanding that they can create and they can mold and they can shape and they can build. We don't need more Steve Jobs. We don't need more Coach JBs. We don't need more Kanye's and all those people, right? What we need is workers. We need people to run the businesses that we create, the creation that we're able to use through a higher consciousness that God gave us to create these businesses, to create these enterprises. We need a bunch of workers. And if we create a bunch of workers during the progressive era in the 1900s, we will prosper for generation after generation. But we accepted that. We accepted that. So what they did is they created the General Education Board and the medical board. And in America specifically, we treat symptoms. We don't treat problems. In the education board, you're an indoctrination system that teaches you how to memorize to get a grade point average. And when you get that grade point average, you are deemed a top graduate. And all the other kids who are creative and think outside the box are sitting there in graduation going, I'm worthless because of the subconscious mind programming and the indoctrination system that we live in. So what we're experiencing right now, warriors, is specifically from the 1900s during the progressive era when we were subconscious mind programming and indoctrinated into a system. It's not good nor bad. We all accepted that. Our grandparents accepted it. Our parents accepted it. And now you're accepting it. So, warriors, it doesn't matter if your crypto portfolio goes to 1 million. It doesn't matter if you get a bunch of LBOs and you become rich. It doesn't matter if you hit the lottery or you become a pro athlete. What matters is, warriors, is in the process of becoming a multimillionaire or a billionaire, it's who you're becoming. It's understanding that every single human being has a choice to become whatever they want. Because what you believe in your heart, you think in your mind will eventually become your words and become your reality. If you can see it in your mind, eventually you can hold it right here in your hands. They know that. I know that. God knows that. A higher power knows that. Allah, Buddha, whoever knows that. The greatest people in human history know that. That if you repeat something over and over again repetitively, it gets ingrained in your subconscious mind, and then it becomes your unconscious activity. That's why I'm succeeding right now, warriors, because I broke free from the matrix in 2017. I left the fraudulent banking system, and I repeated activities over and over and over and over again. I got up at the same time. I did the same activities. I read the same books. I studied the same people. I sought wise counsel, and I did the same thing over and over again. Now, in the physical reality, for about 3.5 years, nothing was happening. So what would happen as a human, what we've taught is to give up. But I just kept going. I kept believing in my heart. I kept thinking in my mind. I kept verbalizing it to the world. I told you guys I was going to be wealthy. I told you I was going to get here. I told you that when nothing in the physical reality showed that. This is the battle against human consciousness. They don't want you to know this power. Who is they? I don't know. You created that in your mind, that there is a nefarious thing out there, that somebody is stopping you. You created that. You believe that because your parents told you that. It doesn't matter who the president is. It doesn't matter which country you live in. It doesn't matter the circle. It matters the choices that you make every single day. There's some people that are in prison that are freer than you because they understand the power of the mind. That's why many people that are imprisoned into a prison cell actually awaken and come out Christians or connected to their higher self. You know why? Because God says, be in silence with me. You don't have to go to a box, warriors. You don't have to. Now, I believe in all religions. I believe in everything because I believe you, because what you believe is your truth. So if you go to a box to praise, to raise your internal vibration to a certain level, but if you can hold that internal vibration, you can actually be a good human being outside of the box, that's being a Christian or whatever that means. That's being a steward of society. Being a Christian doesn't mean going to a church or to a box or confessing to somebody in a box. Being a Christian or a higher conscious human being means living it in the dark when nobody's watching, warriors. So if you truly want to become a millionaire, this is the biggest thing you should be fearing, is the battle for your consciousness. So what are some things you can do, warriors, to regain your mind? What are some things you can do to fight this battle? Fasting. High intensity training, reading, controlling what you ingest, what you see, what you hear, and who you're around. Controlling what you ingest, what you see, what you hear, and what you're around. That's why I created my Warrior Academy. 3,800 people worldwide have come together with the like-minded consciousness to lift each other up. And we bring everybody in and we say, be you. I don't care if it's not about believing the way that I believe, and the way that I believe in God is just higher consciousness. And so I worked very, very hard to repeatedly do something in my mind. And I verbalized it to the world and I could see it in my mind. And now I'm holding it in my head. Now I'm financially free. I'm mentally free. I'm spiritually free. I'm relationship free. I have abundance in my life, and you can do the same thing, warriors. So this is the biggest thing you should be fearing, not your government, not your spouse, not your house, not a mouse, not anything outside of you. You should be fearing that you regain your subconscious mind programming, that you regain your thought process, warriors. So we're really excited about all this stuff with Kim Kardashian and Kanye West and what's happening with them and warriors. I guarantee they're battling their own demons, and you're comparing your life to them. And most people posting on social media are completely full of shit. If everybody was doing what they're saying on social media, we'd have an amazing, amazing world. If all the families were as happy as they're posting on social media, we wouldn't have the domestic violence that we have. If everybody was posting on social media, we wouldn't have the opiate abuse that we have if everybody was truthful on social media. I've just decided to be unapologetically authentic and crazy truthful and not worry about likes or comments and do what is right for humankind on a daily basis and work my ass off. And that's why I'm exploding. That's it. Because I actually do what I'm saying, warriors. That I actually do what I'm saying. So let's repeat it. What you believe in your heart, you think in your mind, will eventually become your words and become your reality. If you can see it in your mind, eventually you can hold it right here in your hand. So what I did is I started to visualize myself in my mind as I wanted to be. And I started to verbalize it to the world. And I started to act upon those things repetitively, even when it wasn't in my physical reality. And I did it over and over and over and over and over again. And now I'm experiencing my physical reality. I will become a billionaire because it already is created in my head. Now, what does a billionaire mean to me? It means absolute freedom. Absolute freedom. It has nothing to do with monetary gain, warriors. I could be driving the fancy cars. I could be in a big mansion right now, but I'm not, because it's not important to me right now. Will I have those things? Maybe. If my higher self wants them within that moment and somebody beautifully created that and I can experience it, yes. But what I'm focused on right now is becoming the best version of myself and becoming the greatest of all time within my paradigm. And you can do the same thing too, warriors. There's many people out there that are greatest of all time, and you should be the same because you have different fingerprint and different DNA. So this is the thing you should be fearing, is the battle for your mind, the battle for human consciousness. You can listen to podcasts all day. You can watch YouTube videos all day. You can sit there and wait patiently and stressfully, some of you, for XRP to go to 589 or Bitcoin to go to 100,000. You're going to be extremely disappointed, warriors. because it's never going to meet your expectations. And when it does go to 589, nothing has happened. Only thing that will happen is you'll have more wealth within the physical world. If you haven't changed the internal world, you will be poor beyond your wildest dreams. Because if you become wealthy in the physical world and you have not become healthy mentally, you're fucked. You're screwed, warriors. I'm telling you. The battle right now is for human consciousness. So as the technology comes in, I'm not scared of technology. I think it's the greatest thing ever because a higher power created human beings to think, and somebody created that. That's creation. But I choose to use this for great things. You can use this to watch pornography, or you can use this to look at the stock market, or you can use this to study, or you can use this to creep on your ex or your ex-spouse or ex-husband. You can use this for nefarious things, and you can use this for great things. It's not the tool, it's the user of the tool, warriors. So the biggest thing you should fear is the battle of human consciousness. And like I said, warriors, I'm not here to get likes or follows, or I'm not even here to argue with you with the negative comments. What I'm here to do is to speak my truth, and my truth is that I'm the greatest of all time within my paradigm. That I will continue to bring you good information to help you make informed decisions, but I'm not asking you to follow a word I say. What I'm asking you to do is to learn to trust yourself, and you do that through action, warriors. You do that through looking in the mirror and understanding that you are the solve. Now, again, I'll go back to this because it turns a lot of people off. If you're a religion or you believe in something, then great. This is what I say to people. People are like, you're wrong, JV. The way that you believe in God is wrong. And my church is the right one. Okay, well, here's the thing. What I do is when you say that to me, I go look at your social media and I look at your life. And I look and I say, I definitely don't want your life. And so there's one of two things happening. Number one is your religion doesn't work, or number two, you're not practicing it. It's most likely number two, is that you're carrying around a Bible, you're going to your church, and you're judging someone like me who's a higher level consciousness human being who is expressing God in his fullness and believes in God. But because I don't believe it the way that you believe it, you're going to judge me and bash me on social media. But what I ask myself is, if you're out there preaching to other people, then why is your life all fucked up? Then why are you hiding in your closet looking at pornography? Then why can't you keep your shit together? Why do we see so many pastors getting kicked out of the church for infidelity? Because we're all flawed, warriors. The people you're listening to are watching pornography. We're all flawed, warriors. We have these people who are putting themselves on pedestals, and nobody should be on a pedestal other than you. I don't put anybody in my life on a pedestal other than my connection to my higher self, which I call as God. And however it shows up for you. So if you're part of an organization or a religion or a church, fantastic. Then practice what they say, because if you follow what they say, and if you follow the Bible or you follow the principles they're doing, you're probably going to live a pretty good life, warriors. The stuff is simple. If you're not a Christian, you're like, oh, I want exposure to it, then to read Proverbs. That's what I did for a long time. I read Proverbs, and it's basically them telling us, hey, you don't sleep with your neighbor. Don't murder somebody. Simple shit. Stuff that we already know as a human being. Go study the DNA coding, warriors. Find out what the first, I do some research. Study what the DNA coding, the first phrase in it is. They broke down the numbers in the DNA coding in the first phrase. I want you to go research that. And you'll find it. Seek and you will find. Find and you'll be dismayed. And once you're dismayed, you'll be astonished. And once you're astonished, you'll realize you're a king or queen. So I know this message isn't about, I'm going to talk about Andreessen Horowitz on Monday and all the cryptocurrency stuff because it's exciting. I actually enjoy it. That's why I talk about it. I don't do this YouTube channel to get likes, followers, or comments. I do it because I enjoy this stuff. I think cryptocurrency is fun. I think that investing is fun. I think that growing businesses is great. I think that being around cool ass people, high vibration people is really, really fun. And I basically live my hobby. I'm free. But warriors, there's nothing outside of me controlling me. I made a conscious decision to walk away from the matrix and build my own paradigm, to think differently, to act differently. But here's the problem. There's a big resistance gap from taking the thought, taking action, and the physical reality showing you, because you don't want something you're not ready for, warriors. You don't want it. It doesn't work. I've been there. You don't want what you're not ready for. So the biggest lesson I have for you, warriors, and the biggest thing you should be fearing is the battle for human consciousness. And I gave you some tips on how to battle that, warriors. And we created a Warrior Academy. I know people bash me because I push the Warrior Academy every. I'm going to push it every single day, every single post, because I'm very proud of what we created. We created a Warrior Academy with a 120-day challenge that helps people go through a step-by-step process, understanding how the subconscious mind works, to go through a step-by-step process to find who you truly are, not who we are, not to follow something certain. Because if you're a Christian and you go to a church, then it'll make you a better Christian. If you're a good father, it's going to make you a better father. If you're a businessman and you love corporate America, it's going to make you a better employee or team member, warriors. Because you are the answer. You are the solve, warriors. So I went back to 1900 and I talked about that. We're just living that. We have a choice to change it, warriors. It's not about battling or fighting or going against the government or going against this. It's about going against yourself and understanding that what you believe in your heart, you think in your mind, will eventually become your words and become your reality. If you can see it in your mind, eventually you can hold it right in your hands. What you repeatedly do gets ingrained in your subconscious mind. What gets ingrained in your subconscious mind becomes an unconscious activity. I'm so happy and grateful for the money that comes to me in increasing quantities. There's multiple sources on a continuous basis. Why does that come off my tongue so flawlessly? Is because I study nonstop. And I repeat those things over and over again because I have alarms set on my phone and I control my subconscious mind. The average human has 80,000 thoughts a day. Most of the thoughts are day before. Most of the thoughts are negative, but I have eradicated them with my mind because of the control mechanisms through the food, through the things that I ingest, through the things that I see and the things that I've heard. And I've created an ecosystem where I'm living heaven on earth. And you can do the same thing, warriors. So the biggest thing to fear is yourself. Okay. Your parents were doing the best they can with the limited resources they had. They were doing the best they can. They were trying to figure this out as well. They were all trying to figure this out as well. You are a generational shifter, warriors. If you're watching this long, you are a generational shifter. I love you. I appreciate you very, very much. And I thank you for watching this. I thank you for watching this far and having enough belief in yourself to go activate on some of this stuff. But if you need help activating, click the description down below. You can see what we do. But warriors, yes, I'm going to continue to share my 120-day challenge. We've gotten a lot of flack for that. Every day I'm going to share it, warriors. Every post I'm going to share it because it's my truth. It doesn't have to be yours, warriors. This is a freedom world that we live in. You're free to watch this. You're free not to watch this. And you have the freedom to change your life right now, warriors. This is the greatest time in human history. And as we always say, warriors, rise. Get your shit together.